There are three editions of The Voice. The Voice of Holland, The Voice Kids, and The Voice Senior. And we might be doing a rehearsal for the kids on a Tuesday and a recording for a different edition on a Wednesday, and maybe do a rehearsal for The Voice of Holland on the Friday. Be back in the audio studio on a Saturday, and it keeps on going for a period of 6-7 weeks. This is the audition period, and there's going to be knockouts and battles. So they get audio recordings first, they get rehearsals first in this studio, and they're recorded live again with an audience in a different period in the year. And then there is another intermission of 2-3 months. That's all, everything that we record is being broadcasted on a weekly basis. And then there is this live show period of about 4 to 5 weeks that we actually do the final live shows, truly live, in the bigger studio, Studio 22. This is 24. 3 periods: the audition period, which is the longest basically, the battles and knockouts period with all its complementary recordings, and the live show period, which is next year. It was kind of a short one. We only rehearsed for 5-6 hours. Normally 10 hours is no exception. But normally on a rehearsal day we'd have about 40 contestants. There's one rehearsal day that we do with the kids, that's all kids that perform an audition in one day, which is sometimes 90 songs, that's the one I like the most, because you just keep going through these songs quickly without waiting. I'd rather play than wait, to be honest. But normally it's about 40 days, for 40 songs. We play them twice, play 80 songs. But it's 80 times 2 minutes, so 160 minutes, and the rest is lunch and waiting, basically. Production starts with selecting new candidates and finding them, basically, because it's not such a big country. And so finding new candidates that have the ambition and the talent to stand a chance doing an audition here. That's the first thing. And as soon as people are found, they're connected to repertoire. So they're taken into the production office of Talpa, the producing company, and connected to a piano player, and they start looking for repertoire. What's your kind of music? What do you prefer to do? How do you want to present yourself? So are you a soul singer? Are you a rock singer? Are you a singer-songwriter? Do you play guitar? And they look for repertoire, and they look for a certain track that connects to the show, so that's basically a hit. And also we try to arrange a song into the direction of the style of the candidate. So we get this 2-minute cut, which is usually a cut from the original track. That's where the whole thing starts, with ideas for repertoire and candidates for the show. For us, it's about 50-60 days, basically. Maybe even 65-70. That depends on how many recordings we do, because people that are in the finals and get really close to the actual super final, they might get like a record deal, and we usually play on their records as well, because they pre-release albums or singles, and we record those too. So there's always bound to be some extra studio work during the finals. Last 6.5-7 weeks we did about 31-32 days of either studio recording, either rehearsing here, or recording for television. So it's three things we do. We do the audio recording in a separate studio, no audience, no producers. We just do it ourselves. We rehearse here with the full production team and the candidates, or we do a TV recording with audience. For The Voice Senior, which is the senior edition, we recorded already everything, including the finals. But before the season starts, I do zero. I go to the studio, that's where it starts, and then I start building up memory for the whole season. I go to the studio, set up my drums, see whatever they throw at me in terms of repertoire. That's where we decide what we're going to do for which candidate. So after 10 days, we have about 250-260 songs down on tape and on paper. And those two are connected, of course. So the only thing I do is I listen back to those recordings in the audio studio that we make weeks earlier, and I check them with my chart. So if I can read through the chart in combination with what I hear, then I know it's going to be fine here too, because I got to play sort of flawless. I'm playing an acoustic instrument. I cannot repair, I cannot change things afterwards. It needs to be spot on, whether it's a rehearsal or a recording. Everything's recorded anyway. They might use a rehearsal track for some part of the show where they show backstage images. So everything's got to be spot on anyway. I prepare by checking my charts and listening back to the repertoire. Do that once for every song. If we go into a new stage and we're doing a new rehearsal with new candidates, I look at the charts quickly, look at the list, listen back. Oh, this one I know, this one. What's this again? Oh, how did I play it? Okay. And that's what I do, but I don't do a lot of other preparation. That's a good question. Sometimes we're involved with the recording the winner's album, or sometimes the runner-up's album, and sometimes we don't hear anything because the artist gets signed to a label. Might get signed to the label that's connected to the production company. Could be a different label, could be a self-release, but usually they use this format as a platform to become more of a celebrity. We're not always involved with the winners' artistic releases after the finals. I think in the first years the contracts were pretty much written in concrete, sort of. So I think if you won this show, you would have been connected to the record company related to the production company for maybe a year or so, maybe even longer, maybe with an option for 2 or 3 years. I think that there's more liberty for the winning artist to come out with a new repertoire. We just finished the rehearsal of the last audition shifts that we're going to do for the Voice of Holland, which is the mature version. From this period, we're going to the battles period plus knockouts. So that's where the 32 auditioning candidates get cut back to 16 and then eventually cut back to 8 candidates for the live shows. This week, Thursday, in 2 days, we're going to record 2 shows with audience on 2 different time slots, in the afternoon show and an evening show. And those are going to be the last auditions that they're going to add to the whole period of audition shows on TV, because they're all cut and edited. So we record everything in one period, and the coaches wear the same clothes. I wear the same clothes. I always wear the same clothes, by the way. And they cut all kinds of auditions and make it into 8, 7 or 6 different broadcast shows for the Friday evening. And that's going to be later this year. So we pre-record a lot of stuff, actually.